Loving your cat is easy, but understanding if they love you back can be a challenge. Cats naturally aren't very expressive, but there are certain subtle ways in which our kitties show their dislike. So in this video, we're going to talk about 10 signs that your cat hates you. Before we dive in, be sure to subscribe to our channel and join our feline loving community. Number 1. Avoiding the places you usually visit. If you notice a pattern of your cat avoiding specific areas, especially when you're there, it's time to pay attention. For instance, if you've set up a comfy space for your cat in the living room, but they never seem to use it when you're watching TV, it might be more than just a coincidence. Similarly, if your bedroom is off limits to them only when you're inside, there's likely a reason. If your cat consistently avoids places where you spend a lot of time, it's like they're saying, "I'd rather be somewhere else when you're around." Number 2. Flattened whiskers. Whiskers can tell you a lot about how a cat is feeling. Normally, a cat's whiskers will stand out, pointing slightly to the sides or front. This is their relaxed state. But if you see those whiskers pushing back towards their face, it's like an alarm bell. It means your cat is frightened or feeling threatened. But why do whiskers react this way? Whiskers are super sensitive. They can pick up even the tiniest changes in their surroundings. When a cat feels threatened or scared, they instinctively pull their whiskers back. It's like their way of preparing for an uncertain situation. If you notice your cat's whiskers flattening when you approach or when they're around you, it's crucial to tread carefully. They're signaling that they're not feeling secure or comfortable. Always make sure to approach them calmly, avoiding sudden movements or loud noises. If this behavior persists, it might be an indicator of a deeper issue with trust or comfort around you. Number 3. Flicking or lashing tail. When your cat's tail thumps or flicks back and forth rapidly, it's a clear sign that something's bothering them. This isn't a casual movement, it's a deliberate gesture. While a gentle wag might indicate mild curiosity, an aggressive tail flick is more akin to an annoyed sigh. If you're petting your cat and notice the tail starting to flick more violently, it's a good sign they're not enjoying the attention. It's essential to note the context of the tail flicking. Sometimes the annoyance isn't even directed at you, but something else in their surroundings. But if it happens consistently when you're near, it's a sign your cat might not be thrilled with your company at that moment. Number 4. Refusing to play. Imagine this: you've got the toy out, you're swishing it around, trying to engage your cat, and nothing. Your cat might glance at it, then walk away, or they might ignore it entirely. If this happens once in a while, it might just be that they're not in the mood. But if your cat constantly avoids playtime with you, but gets excited and engaged when someone else initiates play, it's a clearer sign. They might not feel comfortable or safe playing around you. Play is not just fun for cats, it's also a bonding activity. Refusing that bond can be a subtle hint about their feelings towards you. Number 5. Not eating or drinking around you. Have you ever noticed your cat hesitating to eat or drink when you're nearby? Or maybe they seem to wait for you to leave the room before they start munching. It could be a sign that your cat feels stressed or uneasy in your presence. In the wild, eating and drinking make animals more vulnerable. They need to let their guard down to consume their meal or drink water. If your cat is holding off on eating or drinking until you're out of sight, it might indicate they don't feel entirely secure around you during these vulnerable moments. To get a clearer picture, observe their behavior around others. Do they eat freely when someone else is in the room but hesitate with you? If yes, it's something to consider. It's essential to ensure there aren't external factors affecting their eating habits, like a change in food type or a noisy environment. But if all remains constant and the only variable is your presence, your cat might be silently communicating their discomfort. Number 6. Avoid sleeping near you. When cats sleep, they're letting their guard down, trusting their surroundings enough to drift into slumber. On average, cats can sleep up to 16 hours a day, transitioning between light napping and deep sleep. Given how much time they spend sleeping, the places they choose for their naps can tell us a lot about how they feel. If your cat seems to avoid sleeping near you, or never settles down for a nap in your room even if it's cozy, it might be more than just a preference for another spot. Cats tend to pick sleeping locations where they feel safe and undisturbed. A cat's choice to consistently avoid resting near you might be their way of saying they don't feel entirely relaxed or secure in your proximity. Pay attention to their favorite sleeping spots. If they're choosing isolated areas over cozy spots near you, it's a sign. Number 7. Staring from afar. Cats are naturally curious creatures. They like to observe their surroundings, which sometimes includes staring. But there's a difference between a casual glance and a fixed continuous stare. If your cat often sits at a distance and just watches you without approaching or interacting, it can be a sign of wariness. When your cat stares from a distance without blinking much, it could indicate they're unsure or even mistrustful of the situation. If you notice this behavior often, especially when you're the main focus of their attention, it suggests that they're trying to figure out their feelings about you. It's essential to be aware of your actions when you catch your cat staring. Are you doing something noisy? Making sudden movements? If not, and they still maintain that distant stare whenever you're around, it might be their way of saying they're cautious or uncertain about your presence. Number 8. Hunkering down. When a cat consistently lowers their body close to the ground, almost as if they're trying to go unnoticed, it indicates they're feeling tense or uneasy. This isn't the playful crouch they adopt when they're about to pounce on a toy. This is a more defensive position. They're showing they're not comfortable and perhaps feel vulnerable in the current situation. Number 9. Never initiates purring. Purring is one of those unique sounds that we often associate with a happy cat. When a cat purrs, it's usually a sign that they're feeling good. If you notice your cat purring around other people, perhaps when they're being petted or sitting on someone's lap, but they never purr around you, it's worth paying attention to. The absence of purring, especially if they purr around others, might mean they don't feel as relaxed in your presence. Number 10. Never displays belly. For cats, the belly is a very private area. It's soft, unprotected, and exposing it makes them vulnerable. In the wild, showing the belly can be a risky move, as it's a prime target for predators. So when a domestic cat shows its belly, it's a sign of immense trust. If your cat stretches out and exposes their belly in front of someone, it means they feel safe and secure around that person. It's like saying, "I trust you not to harm me." If you've never seen your cat's belly, they always seem to keep it hidden when you're around. It's a message. They might not feel secure enough to show you their most vulnerable side. Always approach a cat that's showing its belly with caution and respect. It's a privilege to witness such trust. How many times have you been lovingly stroking your cat, only for them to suddenly turn and give you a quick nip or a swipe of their paw? Your kitty is not being moody. In fact, it actually has nothing to do with their personality. It's a physiological reaction cats have to incorrect petting. Check out this video, where we explain how to pet your kitty the way that they would absolutely adore.